A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the Kremlin has announced that it is currently studying a ceasefire proposal put forth by the United States, which has been accepted by Ukraine. However, skepticism remains high regarding Russia's willingness to agree to a temporary truce, as President Vladimir Putin has previously expressed a preference for a definitive end to hostilities rather than a mere pause. The backdrop of this diplomatic maneuvering is the ongoing military conflict that has seen significant casualties and territorial changes. As Ukraine expressed its readiness to accept a 30-day ceasefire during discussions in Saudi Arabia, the U.S. has shifted its stance to support Ukraine by resuming military aid, which had been suspended due to previous tensions between President Trump and President Zelensky of Ukraine. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov emphasized the need for caution, stating, "We must not get ahead of ourselves in responding to the ceasefire proposal." He indicated that Russia is awaiting a detailed briefing from the United States regarding the negotiations with Ukrainian officials before formulating a response. This highlights the Kremlin's cautious approach as it navigates the complex geopolitical landscape. While the U.S. has stated that the ball is now in Russia's court, there are indications that Moscow remains wary of the proposal. Senator Konstantin Kozachev noted on Telegram that any agreements must be on Russia's terms, suggesting a reluctance to concede to what could be perceived as an American-imposed solution. A senior Russian official pointed out that any ceasefire terms need to be carefully negotiated, hinting at the challenges that lie ahead in reaching a consensus. The resumption of military aid from the U.S. has been swift, with Poland confirming that the flow of weapons to Ukraine has returned to previous levels. This development has been welcomed by Ukraine's European allies, who are now urging Russia to respond positively to the ceasefire proposal. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz described the idea of a 30-day ceasefire as an important step towards achieving a just peace for Ukraine, placing the onus on President Putin to act. Despite the diplomatic efforts, the situation on the ground remains tense. Ukraine recently launched its largest drone attack on Moscow, resulting in casualties and significant damage, which Kyiv claims was intended to pressure Putin into accepting the ceasefire terms. Meanwhile, Russian missile strikes in Ukraine have continued, further complicating the prospects for peace. The Trump administration's involvement in the ceasefire discussions marks a pivotal moment in the conflict, as it seeks to bring both parties to the negotiating table. However, analysts suggest that Russia is unlikely to agree to the truce as it currently stands, given its recent military successes and strategic advantages in the conflict. Historically, Russia has been resistant to temporary ceasefires, viewing them as opportunities for the opposing side to regroup and rearm. This sentiment has been echoed by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who has previously stated that a ceasefire would only benefit Ukraine. Given the current dynamics, it is plausible that Russia will insist on terms that align with its strategic objectives, including the recognition of territories it claims and guarantees for Russian-speaking populations in Ukraine. As the international community watches closely, the question remains, will Russia ultimately accept the ceasefire proposal, or will it continue its military operations in pursuit of its objectives? The coming days will be critical in determining the trajectory of this conflict and the potential for a negotiated settlement. With both sides preparing for continued engagement, the hope for peace hangs in the balance. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.